Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves wherever you guys are. It is currently 1:05 in the morning. I know most of you guys are wondering where the hell have you been? And the easy answer is holiday season. You had Thanksgiving, you had Christmas, and New Year's around the corner. So I do apologize to my conspiracy theorists out there who have reached out and said, "Where the hell have you been?" That's pretty much where I've been. Just enjoying the holiday. When we are recording this the morning of January 11th, so 11 days in to the new year. So I hope you guys are enjoying that as well. Want to bring up a couple of things. Well, we're going to do different topics, but the first topic is going to be the conspiracy of the trucking industry. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, the do's and don'ts. And so that way, those of you guys who are new into the trucking industry are well familiar. And I welcome anybody who's currently in the trucking industry, who's a veteran of the industry, who wants to provide any more tips for another episode, for me to look into. I'll be more than happy to, entertain that idea. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's go ahead and talk about, for a moment, the MC situation, the motor carriers situation. Now, I know a lot of, baby faces is what I call them, want to get into the trucking industry, and they say, "Hey, this is going to be so easy, so such a great idea," and it's not really all that it's cut out to be. It's, a lot of people don't put two and two together when it comes to stuff like that, and it's kind of sad because you can make money in the trucking industry. However, if you don't have money put aside for emergencies, you're going to fail. And I'm mainly talking about owner operators that are in the industry who are young and who just pretty much want to say, you know what, I'm going to tough this out. I'm going to, go in blind. And the reality is you can't really go in blind. And this is stuff that the people on YouTube don't really talk about, to be honest with you. These are things that are missed in some aspects. I've been really looking at a lot of YouTube videos, and there might be a couple out there that are informative like mine, but I've been seeing a couple of videos of, hey, I've made, $5,000, $10,000 in a weekend. It is possible. However, if you are a day 1 to a day 30 authority, it is going to be harder than a motherfucker to do so, to be getting loads. I can tell you a few off the top of my head that will take day 1 authorities. Total Quality Logistics, TQL. They are number 1 when it comes to reliable day 1 authority. And yeah, you might run into a couple of bad apples in TQL. But I mean, other than that, they're pretty solid. The only thing I complain about is their lack of negotiation of rates. They never want to meet the $2 a mile or above quota per se. With that in mind, you also want to make sure that you, as an owner operator, have money aside for yourself. Because if you don't have money aside for yourself, you're going to sink, and you're going to sink pretty fast. Me as a dispatcher, I have seen a lot of owner operators sink because they do not, and I repeat this wholeheartedly, do not have emergency funds set for themselves. What I mean by emergency funds is, okay, you need to have money for yourself, so that should cover hotels, if need be, showers, food, just your normal necessities, right? And then maintenance for the truck, insurance, if you have truck payments, Obviously, you're going to have money for that. So you have a lot to build up for before you even think about going owner-operator, because if you don't have any of that, you're going to sink. And you got to prepare yourself for months in advance. At least have enough money to cover you for like the next 6 months. I know you're going to say, oh, well, that's a long time. Believe me, you will be grateful you have that kind of money saved up for the next 6 months, especially if you're going to be the type of person that's going to live out of your truck. You're going to need that because, I've seen a couple of businesses who had to fold that I've worked with, who've had to fold because, they were a new authority. And the first question I ask is, hey, do you have a backup plan? And a lot of them say no, they don't. They just went into this blind. And I had a carrier that I was working with. It took him 5 months to pay me $1,500. 5 months. And then just recently, I was working with a driver starting Christmas, and he decided to go with another dispatching service, which is completely fine. I encourage having more than one dispatchers because in case one is sick, you have a backup plan, especially if you don't look for loads on your own and you prefer somebody else to look for them for you. That's always a great thing to have. I particularly never shy away from you having other dispatchers. At the same time, just make sure you treat everyone equally, right? So with this particular company, which I'm not going to spend a moment mentioning their name because, it's not worth it. But this company decided to use me from December up until 24 hours ago now, and had a dispatcher on the other side that sang them all the lovely tunes. Hey, we got 8 drivers. We provide the best rates. Okay, cool, great, awesome. However, they do not. First off, they only have one dispatcher that gets overwhelmed with 8 drivers. Okay, cool. Number 2, they don't seem like a great fit. And I say this, and I'll tell you why. Because the driver that I worked with is more of an open, more like I don't know how to put this without being rude, but he's more of either you listen to it my way or it's no way at all type guy, and he doesn't like taking directions from other people unless it's himself, right? So for him to take direction from a dispatcher is going to be kind of new and ugly for him. However, so he kind of screwed me over on that front and left me high and dry. And the funny thing is that everything that I built for him, because I built him a Facebook page, email, and a hi hello, which, by the way, if you don't know what hi hello is, it's a digital card that you can use and attach to your email addresses for your business. Highly recommend you check it out. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but if Hi Hello wants to sponsor me, I'm all open to it. Love the service. Anyways, so I set him up a whole business account just because I believed in the mission that he was doing, and I didn't even ask for a dime. I was getting paid 6% of each load, and I wasn't asking for a dime of any of what he was making. As far as, when I made his sites and stuff. And so, long story short, to the drivers that get dispatchers, just all I ask and I beg of you, treat them with the utmost respect. Treat them as if you would treat your own mother or your own parents, with the utmost respect, because they do risk their lives. Well, I wouldn't say risk their lives. They do risk certain things to make sure that you have your loads. In my particular situation, my schedule has to be worked around an autistic child, and his needs come first. And I'm sorry, but the driver knew where I was coming from because we had the conversation prior. The first half of the morning, I'm good. Second half of the morning, when he wakes up, I got to put him on the bus, and and off to school he goes until until he comes home, and so that we had a conversation about, and he was okay with it. But what he wasn't okay with was, oh, I didn't know if you were working 6 hours, because if you work 6 hours, I would have never hired you. Motherfucker, please. Please. I gave you loads. You told me to wait for you for your phone call on the drop off, so that way we can find you another load, and we went like that. So for him to say something like that is ridiculous. So I say to those, please be careful, because there are some shoddy drivers out there, and it's sad that new drivers act like that, but it's true, and it is the saddest case ever. We're going to go ahead, and it's going to take a couple of seconds for me. It's not even going to feel fast for you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and make me something to drink real quick, and then we're going to continue this conversation about the trucking industry, and I'm going to try to minimize my rant and raving about my last driver, because till this day, it kind of pissed me off. We'll touch a little bit more about it here in a little bit. I'm going to cut into a quick commercial, a quick advertisement, and then we'll continue back where we left off. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Richard, host of the Conspiracy Theory Podcast. Listen, if you want to start up your own podcast and promote it on Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube podcast, then I recommend Anchored by Spotify. They're the perfect platform for the all-in-one situation, and you could pretty much take it anywhere you go. You could download it on your phone, use it on your phone, or like me, who is stationary and does his podcast from home. I also use the Fifine, Fifine, with the podcast mixer and Audacity. Great combination. I highly recommend that you guys go ahead and give it a try, and let me know what your podcast name is. Let's get back to the show. It sounds interesting, shall we? All right, so we are back, and wow, what seemed to be milliseconds for you guys was really just 30 minutes for me. You might hear some noise in the background, because I got my coffee station next to my broadcast booth. Excuse me. And I decided to have a cup of tea for this hot mess that the trucking industry is in. So just to recap, guys, if you guys are new into the trucking industry, you just got your trucking authority, you are less than 30 days, know that the first 60 to 90 days is going to be hard. And the reason why I tell you that is because I have a list of companies that I would provide you, go take a look at after your 90-day mark. So the first 30 days, you can obviously get TQL loads, right? 90 days, tall grass, after 90 days. Coyote is 30 days. ATS is 90 days. Let's see, who else do I have here? RXO Solutions is 90 days. Haynes Logistics, also 90 days. American Diamond Logistic, 90 days. Bent Motor Express, I highly recommend you stay away from. I had a very bad experience with them. They are very rude on the phone. Little background story on them. I had a call for a load, just inquiring basic information, weight, capacity, commodity, so on and so forth. And they told me that, and they gave me a price which was below market value. And I said, let me get back with you and call my driver and figure out, what he wants to do. Well, I got the answer from the driver, and I called back the company, and they're like, oh, well, we've been waiting 5 hours for you to make up your mind. This is fucking ridiculous. Da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, wait a minute. I only received an email an hour ago asking what the situation was. Has not been 5 hours. You can stick that BOL in the Raycon and shove it up your ass, because we're not taking this load now that you're going to act like that. So if you're a dispatcher listening to this, make sure you stand your ground. Make sure you defend your driver, because at the end of the day, he will appreciate it. And that will definitely go a long way. Also, here's what I recommend. Do not, and I mean as a dispatcher, I'm letting you know this, unless they pay you, do not make anything. Do not go above and beyond what your percentage is, because I did that as a dispatcher, 6%, and I went above and beyond. And a lot of my friends were like, wait, what are you doing? And I figured I was doing him a solid, and it came around and bit me in the ass. So now I know. Moving forward. So we know Bennett Motor Express, don't bother calling them. RXO, 90 days. Red River Logistics, 90 days. Montgomery Logistic Inc., 90 days. Cookson Carrier Corporation said 12 months. Let's see what's another one on here. PLS Logistics Services, 6 months. Anderson Logistic, 12 months. And that is the list that I have. And so I would recommend just making sure that you guys are, taking care of your drivers, making sure that you are doing the best that you can. Now, remember, for those new dispatchers and possibly even new drivers that are doing this for the first time, that know how to drive a truck but don't know how to read the load board, full loads are anything that either maxes out your weight or maxes out or comes close to maxing out your truck. However, you will get these carriers or these shippers, brokers rather, who will post let's say you have a 40-foot hot shot and they want to use 20 feet of your deck space, but they say full load. Well, that's a full load because that's what they have it at. So you've charged them full price. Now, if they say partial, then that will give you lenient way to stack on top of that. So make sure that if you do a partial, you make sure you have something that goes with that route, so that way you have enough room and that you can maximize your money that way. That's what I recommend for you. Now, for power only and van trailers, at your 90-day mark, what I recommend is Amazon. A lot of people are like, ew, I don't want to do that. But trust me, it will be worth it. Let me know in the comments down below what your experiences are with Amazon. I heard some good, some bad, some ugly. So it just depends on everyone's experience. And my main gripe about tonight is truck drivers, treat your dispatchers the way you want to be treated. And dispatchers, treat your truck drivers not just like your boss, because obviously they pay you, right? But treat them as if they were family. Check in from them from time to time. Make sure that they are good, because, they are going to need a person that's going to be there for them. And, it gets lonely out on the road. Trust me. My driver that I had before this whole debacle, he would call me and want to talk to me for hours on end. And that's because, girlfriend didn't want to talk to him. He didn't have many friends. And so I'm not saying every truck driver is that way, but I would also just recommend just being there for your driver. And, make the best of it, right? Make the best of every situation. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, but if you guys work together, you guys can accomplish so much more. And I think that's what most drivers and dispatchers fail, is that, you guys can work together. It's not like it's all on the dispatcher. Sometimes the dispatcher needs help. Sometimes the driver needs help. Just remember, don't go above and beyond what your percentage is. And that's what I failed to do, because at 6%, me personally, I think I should have gotten paid a little bit more than 6, because I was doing his back office work, checking him in at a hotel, making sure that, websites were kept and all that good stuff. So that is my rookie mistake, and that's a mistake that I will not make in the future. So now I know. Beyond that, our next episode, we're gonna dive into different industries. Our next episode is gonna be teachers and appreciation, and how they put up with so much bullshit and they are so underappreciated. So that's gonna be I don't know if it's going to be next week's episode. I'm not sure if it's going to be a tomorrow episode. I'm still trying to figure things out as I go. But this is going to be the end of this episode. I know it's about 21 minutes long. So I tried not to waste too much of your all's time. But if you guys have any comments or any suggestions that you guys want to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. Make sure you follow my socials. I have if I can pull it up here, I do have a X account. So if you guys want to follow me on that, it's going to be One Conspiracy News, is where you can find that. It's going to be the same logo as you would find on here. Yeah, let's go ahead and strike up a conversation about the trucking industry. What do you guys think should change, and how would you guys change it if the ball was in your court? I know for me, it would be the brokers not being so damn stingy and actually paying what the truckers are worth. And let me know if you ride with dispatchers or not. All right, so my name is Richard, host of the Conspiracy Theory News broadcast. And I hope you guys have a good one. And truck drivers, be safe. I know it's still icy out there, so keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you drive under the speed limit. You are not Optimus Prime, so make sure you keep that truck under the speed limit. And dispatchers, keep your head on the swivel. Make sure that you are professional through and through. I love you all, and I hope you guys have an amazing morning, amazing evening, an amazing weekend whenever you're listening to this. I will talk with you later. Thanks for listening.